Most surely you have seen this mark before. It is a sticker of saving grace and a loss of personal freedoms. It is needed protection and outrageous infringement. This is the parental advisory sticker, placed still on albums containing explicit lyrics and content. From the first day of its use in 1984, it has been one of the biggest controversies of the music industry, pitting angry liberals and musicians against mothers and followers of God. But what really is this sticker? It is perhaps the biggest triumph and tragedy of personal freedom in the last 30 years.
As the American society approached the 21st century, families were degrading and values and morals were giving way to divorce and evil, at least in the eyes of Tipper Gore. These changes in popular culture coexisted with the breakdown of the nuclear family. When the nuclear family started to decay, there was also a breakdown in the immunization system to evil. Since children today lack the stable family structure of past generations, they are more vulnerable to role models and authority figures outside established patriarchal institutions. I see the family as a haven of moral stability, while popular music, e.g. rock music, is a poisonous source infecting the youth of the world with messages they cannot handle. Ms. Gore based these ideas on the increasing rates of suicide and rape, and upon seeing graphic violence of herself in person and the rude human nature of it.
The Parents Music Resource Center, or PMRC, was an American committee formed in 1985 by 4 American mothers, namely Tipper Gore, Susan Baker, who was the wife of Treasury Secretary James Baker, Pam Hauer, and Sally Nebius. The mothers claimed that rock music was responsible for an increase in rape, teenage pregnancy, and teen suicide over the previous decade. The PMRC's mission was to educate and inform parents about the growing trend in music towards lyrics that are sexually explicit, excessively violent, or glorify the use of drugs and alcohol, and to seek the censorship and rating of music. Music censorship was by no means a new concept. Rizo Sures's 1933 song Gloomy Sunday was banned for decades in Holland after inspiring hundreds of suicides. The Filthy 15 were 15 specific bands that the PMRC targeted for their songs and content, including Prince.
I knew a girl named Nikki, I guess you could say she was a sex fiend.
Sheena Easton. Judas Priest. Vanity. Motley Crue. AC/DC. Twisted Sister. Madonna. Wasp. Def Leppard. Merciful Fate. Black Sabbath. Mary Jane Girls. Venom.
Look at me, Satan's child, born of evil.
Cyndi Lauper. The introduction song from this very movie was one of the targeted songs. The PMRC started out doing this by mailing the Recording Industry Association of America, or the RIAA, and discussing their idea of censorship and activeness. After this failed to do little but generate buzz in the papers, the PMRC met with the National PTA and released demands. 1. Print lyrics on album covers. Number 2. Keep explicit covers under the counter. Number 3. Establish a rating system for records similar to that of films. Number 4. Establish a rating system for concerts. Number 5. Reassess the contracts of performers who engage in violent and explicit sexual behavior on stage. Number 6. Establish a citizen and record company media watch that would pressure broadcasters not to air questionable talent. These demands were met as retailers across the nation began pulling out rock CDs. Still today, many albums are forced to redo their covers and songs so they will sell at large retailers. On the flip side of the issue, this was a tragedy for American liberties and an obvious First Amendment infringement. Frank Zappa and other musicians began battling back for their rights to present the music they want, and for the PMRC to stop impressing their values and judgment on Americans. The entire concept of music censorship was flawed, being based on religious values, which are not to be integrated or enforced in the free country of America. Zappa attended hearings and even made an album in protest, an instrumental album that received the now nicknamed Tipper Sticker. Jill Rosenbaum and Lorraine Prinsky, professors at Bowling Green University, conducted a survey in 1987 to figure out a possible link between music as an instigator of moral depravity in teenagers. They found that teenagers chose songs they liked based on the beat and often misinterpreted the song's messages for harmless ones. In a matter of weeks, Frank Zappa, a famous guitarist and musician, became the spokesperson for the musicians and fans across the country. Writing to the President, Ronald Reagan, he remarked, "PMRC censorship is legislative action that will restrain trade and affect the lives of millions of Americans." He continued to discuss the basis of the PMRC's arguments, an inherent belief that sex equals sin. Sex equals sin. This is not a new concept by any means, and since the days of radio and phonographs, sexuality in music has been attacked relentlessly. In the 20s, record stores were raided and ransacked if they were known to contain filthy music. The PMRC was out of place grossly. If, as they suggest, hearing a certain type of music can cause unwanted behavior, then anyone who has heard a Beatles or Beach Boys record is in danger. Those were Charles Manson's favorite groups. The composer Wagner's influence on Hitler is well documented. Shouldn't the PMRC consider a big red M for those classical works favored by megalomaniacs? What if statistics become available showing a marked preference for Wayne Newton and Barry Manilow among convicted white-collar felons? Fundamentalist Christianity is not a state religion. The PMRC's request for labels regarding sexually explicit lyrics, violence, drugs, alcohol, and occult content reads like a catalog of phenomenon abhorrent to practitioners of that faith. The establishment of a rating system, voluntary or otherwise, sets the stage for an endless series of control programs based on things certain Christians don't like. What if the next group demands a large letter on all material written or performed by people of a different religion in order to save helpless children from exposure to other doctrines? How long will it take till somebody demands that composers and performers wear a special armband at all times in public, reflecting the stigma of their category rating? To quote Zappa, "If enacted, American musical culture will become a hostage in the beige zone, somewhere between the Salem witchcraft trials and the McCarthy era. Bad facts make bad laws, and people who write bad laws are, in my opinion, more dangerous than songwriters who celebrate sexuality. The facts simply do not support the PMRC's outlandish claims. And to quote Voltaire, I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it."